Welcome to Sled Talk, where we love talking everything snowmobiles, from pulling the cord to pulling your hair out. There's nothing that's off the table when we come to talking snowmobiles. I'm Rob Reed.
I'm Steve Glass.
And we are looking forward to entertaining you with today's episode. And for what it's worth, Steve, I'm a little I don't know, angry isn't the right word, disappointed isn't the right word, a little worked up, called Stay Safe Out There. And we brought in Taryn Barris from Safety Services Manitoba to talk about being safe and how important that is out there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I did a little search the other day because I get different information coming to me from different areas all the time. And since December 1st till when I looked at it today, and this is across Canada and into the States, and only the stuff I've seen, so there's going to be a lot more.
Yeah.
16 people have died. 20 people have been injured to the point where it made the news.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And it's disappointing. I'm a little, like I say, I don't think pissed off is the right word. But it certainly got me upset. Because first off, I don't want to see people die. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to be, anyone that we know or otherwise. Yeah. And of course, add to the fact that, we don't need to see people injured. And the more people that either get kill themselves, or do injure themselves, means we're going to start seeing more government intervention. Yeah. They're going to start putting laws and things in place that we don't necessarily like, but they're going to be there because we haven't been managing ourselves as a snowmobiling community very well. Right? So I look at all of those things, and it really, like I say, it's a little upsetting. And from my days as a pilot, they always talked about in plane crashes. It wasn't the last decision that killed you, right? It was always 5 to 10 decisions prior. And sometimes that decision could be you're at your buddy's house and it's nighttime and you're gonna ride home alone. Mm-hmm. And something happens. Maybe you didn't take your usual route. Yeah. I'm gonna go this way instead. There was a guy that just got fished out of the Winnipeg River, Lac de Bonnie, the other day.
That's a bad area too. So
yeah.
Lots of water there all year round.
Yeah, no matter what. But he got fished out of there because I guess it looked like it was snowed over, but at the end of the day, there was water underneath because we haven't had super cold, but we've had more snow this year, and it hadn't frozen very, very thick. And so I guess he went into the juice, and lucky to be alive.
Oh, yeah.
But again, bad decision well before he got to that open water or that slush or whatever it was that he hit. People don't know where you're going, or you've had a few drinks, and maybe call the wife to come get you, because it's better to catch shit than it is to get killed.
There was a couple that hit rocks on the edge of a lake and passed away.
Up in northern Manitoba.
And no one knew exactly where they were going that night to try to find them. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming they were going a little too fast in an area that they weren't familiar with, or maybe the water level was at a different height or something like that. But
they hit some rocks. They were going to a cottage and never got there. Yeah. And no one heard from them. Yeah, pretty tragic. And I mean, sure. some people in northern Manitoba. Yeah, that was pretty sad as well. So not only in Manitoba, this is happening, as I say, across Canada, into the States. Think before you get on your sled, and think about your decisions, because it isn't the last one. It's the first one that sets you on a path.
And wear all your safety gear.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say this, I mean, over the years, you and I have done some kind of dumb things. Yeah. And I'll say at the same time, we've also talked each other out of certain dumb things. Yeah. We have. And there have been times when we've finally convinced the other guy that the coach was the better choice.
Yep.
And we're here to talk about it.
Yep.
So again, sometimes being the better friend and saying, hey, you know what? Hit the couch, we'll phone your wife, you're gonna catch some shit, but better to catch that than whatever the next thing could be.
And speed, right?
Of course.
I mean, if you're going 30 miles an hour and you touch a tree, you're not gonna kill yourself, but if you hit it at 80 miles an hour, it's a lot of speed.
Yeah.
The snowmobiles aren't getting any slower.
No, they certainly aren't. No. And so, an interesting thing that I saw, Elliot Lake, and it's a little town in Ontario, recently had at their city hall the OPP come in and do a full safety training, which was kind of nice for the community to do that. Yeah. But they turned it into an event. Sure. And the event included some prizes and giveaways and made it fun. And so as a community, everyone got a little bit more education and some safety sake. And hats off to them. And often we're dealing with a lot of small towns here that we're talking about.
Yeah.
That could be doing something community oriented. We talked about the clubs.
Get the local club involved.
Yeah, or the clubs doing it themselves.
Sure, yeah.
Making it an event and creating a club activity that is good for everybody.
Could be part of a poker derby even or something,
Sure.
The beginning of a poker derby
Or post some safety signs.
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say when we were younger, we probably would have looked each other sideways having this conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think we've gotten to that point where I know we're probably getting a little preachy here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologize for it, because if you get home safe, great. So with that in mind,
Yes.
I would like to see everyone doing their best to lower these stats, because 16 dead, 20 injured since the beginning of December. Keeping in mind, here in Manitoba, we didn't even really have snow until the 20th.
True. Yeah.
So depending upon what part of the province you're in, of course.
Don't go on ice. I think how many of them do you think were thin ice things? Did it say that?
You know what? I didn't read each article.
Okay.
Because
There's a lot of problems with that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Early in the year, people getting on the thin ice.
Because that blanket of snow is keeping the water warm. It's insulating. The ice is much thinner. 100%.
Stay off the lakes until you see people out fishing on them, and
Yeah.
drive a little slower on the trails.
Yeah. Like I said, we could go into this.
Especially if you don't know where you're going. That's crazy too. You see guys, like I've heard of guys where they are just wide open across the field and hitting something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to see how fast their sled goes or something, but make a few passes.
Yeah.
On an area you're not familiar with. Get to know what's there.
Check it out.
Check it out a bit, yeah, for sure.
Be safe, be smart.
Yep.
Because as I say, it's not the last decision that killed you, it was the first one.
Yeah.
And the 5 after that got you into that place. Take a moment and think. I've often talked about the shallow end of the gene pool. And those people are going to find a way to kill themselves, whether they're fishing, curling, snowmobiling, whatever, golfing. What did someone one time quote that I heard came out of Brainerd? Put 500 fishermen together and someone's going to die.
That was actually
No, that wasn't Brainerd. That was from
Sturgis.
Sturgis.
That was
Yeah.
a bikers
Yeah.
defending the fact that one person died in Sturgis that year.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that many fishermen together and someone's going to die too.
Well, as I say, there's always going to be someone from the shallow end of the gene pool that makes bad decisions. Be that guy's buddy.
Yeah.
And don't let him make that decision, or at least don't let him go through with it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like I say, Steve, this one kind of got me a little bit worked up, and I just hope that we do better in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
So something that's been going on lately that I've seen lived, actually twice now, is snowmobile suspensions and suspension wear, and what kind of suspension maintenance is going on.
Right.
What do you see coming into the shop here?
For the most part, it's just seized up idler wheels and worn out sliders and whatnot. But cracked rails are something that are kind of hard to spot. I'm looking down at that snowmobile every time. But cracked rails are kind of hard to spot unless you're really, really going from one end to the other on the sled. But I'm starting to think people should be inspecting their rails and all the mounting points on their rails.
The mounting points are critical because metal fatigue. I mean, this is aluminum. It's not super strong. I mean, it's fairly strong, don't get me wrong, but metal fatigue is real, and these things do give up, as you say, the wear points and hinge points. And I've gone through that with my sled this year. I had to replace basically the entire skid under there, because when I took it apart, it had worn its way through, and I didn't see it in the fall because I put the sled away. But the spring, this fall, when I was doing my preseason.
That's the thing. It's difficult to notice from doing a quick preseason on the snow, right? You're checking all the big show bolts are tight. You're making sure that the idler wheels and sliders and the limber straps are in good condition. But you're not looking over every inch of that rail.
But it wasn't even. I mean, it was part of the rail, but it's on mine.
Some bolts got loose and wore out the mounting points.
Exactly. And something I probably could have caught. But it's not one of those things you think about going out and
You might not even catch it, If it happened earlier in the year, you got snow in there all the time. It wouldn't take too long for a loose bolt to wear a hole into an oval.
No, and in this particular case, it wore completely through. I mean, I'll post a picture of it. But
I guess anything older, you should have a lift in your garage and get it up in the air and have a good
Well,
look
even
at
if
it.
you don't
in a few
have
weeks.
specifically a lift, I mean, you know, we're both fortunate that we've made those investments.
Lifts aren't expensive.
No, but I mean, just get it up in the air, even if you got to lay on the floor and get under there with a trouble light.
Get the snow off it.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's nice to do it in the fall during your preseason inspection, because, you know, as you're grabbing the idler wheels and checking the bearings and making sure everything's good, that's what actually twigged me was, look how loose this bearing, and I went, oh shit, look at that, and there was the problem. It wasn't, I mean, basically, my skid was scrap at that point. It was stripped the parts that I wanted to keep off of it, bought a used one from another guy that was in great shape, you know, and turned the two skids into one really good one, put it back in, and away I go. But even this past weekend, I was out riding with a buddy and my daughter, and he got out in front of us and he's zipping along, got off the trail 1.5 feet just to get into some deep snow, and something let go under the front of his suspension, and the wheels broke off. And again, I'm going with mental fatigue on this one. The idler wheels broke off. I'm assuming the track caught on the front of the rail.
I'd be interested to see that track to see if it broke a rod and opened up a gap in the windows before that happened.
Yeah,
Just to let maybe let the rail poke through.
possibly. But it tore the track in half. He went end over end. Again, he wasn't going fast. You know, his comment to me was about 50 clicks an hour, so not very fast.
Yeah.
For our American friends, I think about 30 miles an hour. Not particularly fast. But it stopped the ride for him.
Yeah.
You know, his wife had to come get him, pick him up, and you know, we made our way home from there. But I'm going to boil this one down to mental fatigue and not getting underneath it and going through it. Because it's, as you said, it's one thing to look at the bearings, look at your sliders, and all of those different things. But man, you got to get into this thing and look for things that are bent. You know, have you greased it? You know, is grease coming through properly?
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff, because it ruins a ride. And I've ridden with guys in the past that have certain limitations on who can come with them and why. I think you've been with that group as well once or twice.
Yeah.
Because they don't want, you know, the obvious problems to stop a ride. And there was another fellow that actually commented about, you know, on the YouTube page about the same thing, that they've got some rules that they've put in place for people that ride with them, and the equipment they must have with them to go on rides with these guys, because they don't want something that it was solvable or preventable to stop a ride.
Right.
You know?
You get a reputation if you break down every tree.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then the phone rings a little bit less. And you start finding out that the guys went for a great ride. Oh, but you didn't call me.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Spend a little more time with your 600-pound buddy in the shop. I don't know how much nicer I can say that. So Steve, we talk about what was he thinking?
Yeah.
And it's interesting that as much as, you know, we talk about the people that are doing stuff that's crazy enough to kill themselves, and I'm not going to get into any of that one again. But Wolf Guy,
Yep.
he made the news again.
Right.
So a couple things have happened. One of the things that's happened in the background is the United States government, the federal government, has moved to delist wolves from the endangered species list, which I think is fantastic, because wolves are a huge part of the environment and what goes on out there. In fact, between Christmas and New Year's, when I was out in northwestern Ontario with my daughter riding, we popped out of the bush onto a lake, and there was a pack of 4 wolves a quarter mile from us saw us and disappeared into the bush. But it's really cool to see them, and to see them knowing that they're out there doing their part to maintain, you know, they're kind of, you know, they clean up the you know, the small animals, the occasional deer.
Yeah.
But they're good population control.
So in other words, the population must be increasing there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're seeing it. But because they changed that, and there was another act that has been proposed, that sleds are not a weapon. I don't really understand that. But his lawyer is now, because of these two things, asked that his case be dismissed because of these proposed law changes. So this guy's trying to find some way to weasel out of the horrible thing that he did.
Yeah.
Which, anyone that doesn't know the story, he basically hit a wolf on purpose with his sled, took some tuck tape or something like that, taped its mouth shut, brought it into the bar. Him and his buddies took a bunch of selfies with it, and then he took it out behind the bar and dispatched it. Awful. It is awful. I think it's terrible. So this guy continues to disgust me. That's all I can say.
Is your thing there saying that sleds right now are considered a weapon?
That's the way. Yeah, it was like I said.
And they want to take that away, so they're not a weapon.
I could, yeah.
Okay, that seems kind of.
It seemed.
I didn't know they were declared a weapon in the first place.
Neither did I.
Okay.
I wrote it down specifically for that reason, so that we could look at this thing and go, that's odd. I didn't go into it any deeper. I'm sure there's people out there that can speak to this better than I can. But it seemed like an odd thing in the States.
Yeah.
Sure. And this is an American thing, not a Canadian.
Right. I want to see what their list of weapons are now.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to see that. This is pretty long.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah.
Steve, what have we got for products today?
It's just going to be products.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
Just what all's available if you need stuff.
So you are a sun and snow dealer.
Sun and snow dealer, yes.
And so, as a dealer,
I'm a dealer of a few different outfits, but sun and snow is one of them for sure.
So walk us through kind of the benefit of you being a sun and snow dealer.
Well, you can actually go on their website and look up your own parts if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't buy directly from them, so
Right.
you could make your list. I had a guy send me a list of like 25 items the other day with all the part numbers and everything, and I just had to type them all in and order for him, so it was really nice.
Yeah,
and he went through their catalog himself, and he looked up his parts, and he made sure they were going to fit, and saw what they had available, and
But me as a non-dealer,
yeah.
I couldn't go to sun and snow and order parts.
No, you can't. They're a dealer only, so I mean, and they've got everything from apparel. Well, they've got apparel, accessories, electrical parts, so starters, switches, all that stuff.
You're not going to read me the phone book here, are you?
I'm not gonna read the phone book, but
Thank God.
they got
Okay, let's
motor
do
parts,
this.
they got fuel systems.
They got all this. Look at
Yeah.
this.
And this isn't the biggest catalog. I mean,
Yeah.
we're dealers for Recreation Supply and RM Stater and whatnot too. So if you need parts, they're available aftermarket, and they're super reasonably priced compared to OEM.
Well, and we've talked about this in the past as, guys that have snowmobiles and or any kind of off-road equipment are often tinkerers.
Yeah.
Right? They want to do some of the work themselves. They want to go out in their shop and visit with their 600-pound buddy, and maybe have one of their other buddies come over. Usually have a couple beers and do some work, but they need to get the parts to do it. And
I can get stuff drop shipped all across Manitoba too.
right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
They don't have to come to Woodlands if they don't want to come visit me.
You don't want to have to pop in and have a nice chat with it.
Nope, they don't have to.
Right on. Right on. So there's a lot of stuff here. If you've got the opportunity to get into the sun and snow catalog online.
Yeah, have a look through that.
Yeah.
And if they don't have it, I can probably get it from one of the other people.
One of the other people you distribute for.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, with that in mind, snowmobiling is all about performance. Performance Supply is all about ensuring that you have a great snowmobiling season. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.